little while back, MovieBob did a video discussing how he would fix the DC Cinematic Universe's approach to Batman. It was probably one of the most interesting approaches to a serious issue within a series I've ever seen, and completely falls within my area of interest, being criticism through identifying what's wrong with a given property and then setting about fixing it. I thought I'd take a crack at that myself. And what better character to completely rework than Princess Luna herself? Tempting as it would be to just throw out Luna's backstory entirely and create a world where Celestia and Luna rule separate kingdoms, with Luna's kingdom being more authoritarian but safer than Equestria, and she and Celestia are constantly at odds in regards to how they rule, that isn't so much fixing a character as it is replacing her with a completely different character with a Luna-themed coat of paint slathered on top. Besides, if I were truly put in control of Friendship is Magic, I wouldn't have Princess Luna be a character at all. What I'd have is Nightmare Moon as a recurring villain, because Friendship is Magic is sorely lacking in a decent antagonist pool, because most of them get redeemed faster than you can blink. So, if asked to decide the future of Princess Luna, my first step would be to downplay Nightmare Moon and her history with Equestria as a whole. Not ignore it, but don't bring it up unless you absolutely need to. So far, every single one of Luna's appearances have traced back to her experiences as Nightmare Moon, and it turns what could be an interesting character into a one-note dispenser of guilt and pity. Second, we lose the furry waifu look. If Luna's supposed to be the watchful princess of the night who keeps the nightmares at bay and contends with eldritch abominations, she shouldn't show up looking like a goth Build-A-Bear. Either go the full Void Priestess look, or put her in some light armor and give her some intimidating and frightening character animation. The theme here is that we're scared of the dark, and the dark is scared of her. Equestria is filled to the brim with ponies who are cute and cuddly. The princess of the night should be at least a tiny bit scary. Thirdly, we stop dancing around the tension between Celestia and Luna. If Luna's going to continue being a recurring character at all, then the issues between her and her sister need to be addressed and dealt with, particularly the fact that the solution to Luna's treachery was to banish her to the moon. Let's not split hairs here. Solitary confinement is the single most barbaric, inhumane punishment in the world. One that seriously fucks with a person's sanity, and that's only if you do it for a month. The fact that Luna spent 1,000 years in a supercharged version of the worst criminal punishment imaginable should register as a possible catalyst for all of Luna's destructive behavior, and maybe should be putting Princess Celestia on the receiving end of one of Twilight's trademark "reason you suck" speeches. That brings us to the most important thing. Just like MovieBob's Batman, my Princess Luna is a Princess Luna who is handling her shit. She's not over her past or her trauma, because neither of them work that way, but she's dealing with it. She's working it out through a really effective coping mechanism called watching over the night. If that big realization at the end of Do Princesses Dream of Magic Sheep is going to mean anything, then Luna can't be showing up still carrying the burden of Nightmare Moon and Princess Celestia's cruel version of gaslighting. It's not just that retreading the same ground over and over again is stale and boring, it's also a poisonous lesson for people who do suffer with mental illnesses or similar issues that imparts the false belief that they will always come back to blindside you. A character like Princess Luna, who has experienced traumatic events and has learned how to handle them when they rear their heads, is a Princess Luna that serves as a silver lining that it is possible for these things to be manageable. And one of the most productive things you can give a person struggling with mental illness or traumatic events is optimism. Princess Luna is already an older woman, so it's reasonable to assume she's learned some life lessons and can maintain her stability. She's come out alive, she's seen some things that would give other ponies new perspective, she's made some friends, and this results in a princess that makes the ponies of Equestria feel safe when she's in the room. When evil rears its head, she doesn't fuck around, and she's on it right away. She's also teaching Twilight to lucid dream and phase shift, so that if something like the Tantipus ever happens again, two princesses can be weaving in and out of people's dreams, and the events of Magic Sheep should mean that Luna trusts Twilight to always be viable backup when she needs it. If something turns out to be too much for her to handle, she instantly calls in Twilight for support. This also means that any episode featuring Luna should also feature the Dream Realm in some way. Similar to how episodes centered around Discord make full use of his reality-bending powers, episodes centering around Luna should be making full use of her own special magic. Luna episodes already strictly center around her role as a guardian against nightmares, so fully exploring that concept should be first priority when the time comes around for a Luna episode. Luna's aesthetic of dreams and nightmares and dark magic is a prime candidate to start exploring some kid-friendly Lovecraftian elements. Think the Shah, but with a slightly more pony-themed leaning. Have Luna episodes deal with themes like fear, anxiety, dread, and grief as she deals with the troubles of a different pony's nightmares. Have Twilight along for these episodes because these things are always better with friends, and Twilight has so far been the only real friend that Luna has up to this point. And it gives the perfect opening for the two of them to have long Bilbo and Gandalf-esque talks, either about dreams, friendship, or Luna sharing stories from history with Twilight. My favorite scene in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings are the scenes where Gandalf and one of the hobbits just sit and talk, usually with Gandalf sharing his wisdom. I think Luna and Twilight would be perfect for this kind of interaction. Why Twilight and not Celestia? Well, obviously Celestia has her own host of problems to deal with first, but as far as friendship goes, I think Twilight is the better choice to partner with Luna for episodes because there's genuine affection for her. Twilight has so far been the only pony in Equestria to show any genuine concern for Luna, any true desire to help her, and was the only person to extend a hoof to Luna when everyone else would rather run and hide. Twilight has given Luna the one thing she needed and never got: emotional support. It's not Celestia that Luna's worried about disappointing, it's Twilight, the one pony who actually gave her a chance at great personal risk to herself. I think that's a friendship worth building on, a friendship that actually means something. Twilight has done this with several other characters, but with Luna it's had the most profound impact, and it's led Luna to aspire to be a better princess than she was before.
Mithrandir. Why the halfling?
I do not know. Saruman believes that it is only a great power that can hold evil in check. But that is not what I have found. I found it is the small things, everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keeps the darkness at bay. Simple acts of kindness and love. Why Bilbo Baggins? Perhaps it is because I'm afraid. It gives me courage.